All right, so let's hope some of my stuff was saved. So what I'm going to do is go down in the search bar at the bottom and type, well, and I see Excel actually comes right up. So I'm going to click on Excel. And then I'm just going to click on blank workbook and see, here's the document recovery pane. And so I'm going to look for the one that's the latest, which is 1259. And so I'm going to close. Okay. So notice I can move my cursor now. So that's cell 18. So that was where I was kind of screwing up. So you know what I'm going to do quick is save my work in case I do something like that again. So file, save as, and then this says chapter 5 rubric. Rubric is the grading criteria. I'm just going to delete that part of it and just put my last name, chapter 5 Newberg. And then just make sure you save it in a place where you can find it. So I will save it in my 1140 folder. Okay. Oops, save. And then continue. That's fine. Okay, so let's try again with question 18. So anyway, so now you see sometimes when things unexpectedly like shut down, you think you lost everything. Sometimes you can recover a lot of what you've done. So how many members thought recycling should not be a priority? And that's where I was saying, oh, I don't know, was I trying to click on numbers or something? But everything outside of the recycling circle, including the 24 that was outside of all of the circles. So equals 24 plus, and then the part of clean water and clean air that doesn't overlap with recycling is the 24, 4, and 6. So 24 plus 4 plus 6. Okay, so 58 people thought something other than recycling was a priority. 19, how many members thought the priority should be recycling but not clean air? And I, I am, they don't say only recycling. So I'm going to include the 7 that overlaps the clean water. So these people thought recycling was important, 15 and 7, but we have to get rid of the 9 and 11 that also wanted clean air. So 15 plus 7, you can get Excel to do it, or you can just say that's 22. Last question. How many members thought the priority should be something other than one of these 3 issues? That was the people outside of the circle, which was 24. Okay, so there's 13 through 20, all done. I think I'm just gonna do file, save, and continue. Okay, so we're done with 13 through 20. On to 25. So 3-step process. Okay. On an essay test, there are 5 questions worth 20 points each. In how many ways can a student get 10 points on one question, 15 points on each of 3 questions, and 20 points on another question? Okay. So step 1 would be to select the 10 point, the question where they get 10 points. And this is a little bit like the people winning in a contest. Okay, select the question. So this one, if there's only one question, I I mean, the order shouldn't matter because you're only selecting one. So let's make sure that that's the same. If we do equals COMBIN, there are 5 questions, we're choosing one. What if we did permutations equals, and if you start typing in the word permutations, same thing, PERM, there you see. And it's the first one, permute, 5, choose one. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you're only choosing one, the order won't matter. And then step 2, $15 points on each of 3 questions. So select the 3 questions. I'm going to copy and paste. Select the 3. So this is step 2. Select the 3 questions for which the student earns 15 points. Now, does order matter? Well, I mean, I guess that's sort of subjective. Usually a student only cares about, I mean, this is true. I'm not saying students do this. I would do this too. I really only care about my final score, right? If I got 85 by, answering, getting the 10-point question first and then the 315 and then the 20, I wouldn't really care if I got 85 from a different order, right? Um, so it, but as far as like what outcomes, so let's just do 2 scenarios. And you only have to do one, but order doesn't matter. Like really you only care about the final score, so it wouldn't matter what order. But um like the tests really are different, like you have mastered different concepts if you get different questions right. So let's just see how much things change if order does matter. Okay. So if order doesn't matter, then we're using combinations. Okay, but remember we've already answered one question, so now there are 4 left. And so we have 4 to choose from, and we're selecting 3. Center that. And if it's permutations, you start typing the word permutation, and it stops at that like permute. There are 4 questions left, and we are choosing 3. I'm just gonna copy that over here. Okay, and then, oops, that should have said step 2. And then the last step 3 is select the 20-point question. Select the question, and this one is step 3, for which the student earns 20 points. Well, there's only one question left, right? The test has 5 questions. We answered 1, and then we answered 3 more, which is 4. So there's actually just 1 way left. You don't even really need a formula for that. Okay, and then we'll say the total number of possibilities. And then we just multiply the number of outcomes from each step together. So equals first times second times third. And then do the same. You can just copy and paste this under the. So notice that if order didn't matter, there were really only 20 different ways to get and 80. If order did matter, then there are 120 different ways. Okay. Yep, and we have done all of that. Okay, 26. Identify, describe all of the steps in the process. Use an Excel formula to give the number of outcomes at each step. Final answer. So pretty much the same thing we've been doing. How many 7-digit numbers are even and have a 3 in the hundreds place? So the reason we can't use combinations or permutations in a problem like this is because remember, with permutations and combinations, the first thing we ask is, are repetitions allowed? And like with the test questions, I don't get to do question 2 twice, right? I can only answer question 2 once. But when we're creating numbers, like I could have, like at my, like say phone numbers, like you can repeat, like my office phone number is 763-488, right? So I've repeated the 8. And so you can't, and if repetitions are allowed, you can't use permutations or combinations. So instead, what we do with these is we just break it, like each digit is a step. So like I'm just gonna label boxes here for where we choose the first digit. So number of choices for the first digit. And then I'm just gonna copy and paste that so that we have 7 digits. So first, and then I'll go back and edit. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then the total number of outcomes. Okay. So just go change that to second, and then third. Fifth, sixth. Oops. Okay. So if it's a true 7-digit number, so our digits are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there are 10 digits. But if it's a true 7-digit number, you can't start with a 0, right? Um, so you really can start with 9 different things. And if I'm going left to right, so let's see, this would be the ones. The last digit would be in the ones. Then it would be the tens and then the hundreds. I really only care about where the hundreds go. Oops. Okay. But now for the second digit, I can have a 0. I just can't have a 0 in the very first number I see. So there are 10 choices for the second, 10 choices for the third, 10 choices for the fourth. But the fifth digit is in the hundreds spot and it has to be a 3. Well, that leaves me only one choice, a 3. And then the sixth digit, again, we could be anything. But if the number has to be even, then it can only end in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. So there are 5 choices for the last digit. And then the total number of outcomes is you just multiply them together. And you can click on and put the times sign in between, or you can say equals MULT for multiply. I thought, nope. And then M mult is matrix multiplication. Okay, I thought, okay, there we go. It's product. So instead of multiply, it's product. Product means multiplication. So equals PROD, and then there's product. And so I just hit the tab key, and then I highlight all of the numbers. Okay, and if you want, you can put a comma in there, but get rid of decimals. Okay, so 450,000. Okay. All right, so that's problem 26. Oh, this should say the total number of 7-digit numbers that satisfy the given criteria. I'll fix that. Okay. So then we've done everything. Oops. Problem 31. I don't even say, I just say use an Excel formula to calculate the number of groups. So it doesn't seem like this one is a process with steps. So it says 14 students in the 100 student 8th grade are to be chosen to tour the United Nations. How many different groups of 14 are possible? And so this is like choosing committees. It doesn't matter. The order in which you select students doesn't matter, right? If I say student 1, student 5, student 7, you're going to come. Or if I say 715, it's the same 3 students, but I just called their names in a different order. It doesn't matter. They're still going on the trip. So this is a combination. So equals COMBIN. Oops, I don't have an equals. And we have 100 to choose from, and we are selecting 14. Okay, this is scientific notation. So there are so many ways to do it. So I don't want it to be in scientific notation. So let's see if I make this longer. Okay. So I'm clicking on this box up here where it's in the like number tab, and then oops, highlight that again and just do number. Okay, it's too long to fit in the box. That's what that all those number signs or pound signs mean. So pull it over, or hashtags or whatever, and then click on comma and also get rid of decimals. So that's decrease decimal button. Okay, so let's see. There's ones, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions. So that's a huge, huge number of ways to select 14 out of 100. Okay, but that's it. 47, two-step process. Okay. A poker hand consists of 5 cards. How many different poker hands contain all cards of the same suit? And so I tell you it's a 2-step process. So step 1, the first thing we should do is choose the suit, right? Because you could get hearts, clubs, diamonds, or spades. So step 1, choose the suit. And that's a combination. So we have 4 suits to choose from, hearts, spades, diamonds, clubs, and we're choosing one. And then step 2 would be get a 5 card flush. Okay, so how are we going to do that? And again, with cards, order never matters because you can always rearrange them in your hand. Okay, so it's going to be a combination. And think, how many do we have to choose from? Well, we've already chosen the suit. So say we chose, it doesn't matter which one. If it was hearts, there are 13. All of those suits have 13 cards. So we have 13 to choose from, and we're choosing 5. Close parentheses, enter, and then that's it. We chose the suit, we got the 5 cards, and then the total number of hands is, so equals, you just multiply those two numbers together. Click on them. So 5,148. Okay. So we identified the steps. We calculated the number at each step, total number of outcomes, got Excel to do the multiplication. Okay, so technically you're done unless you want to do the extra credit. I'm going to do problem 28 now. But if you want to stop, this is all extra credit, you can be done. Okay. Okay, so 28 says calculate the number of different strings that have the strings of letters of length at least 1, but less than 11. Okay, so, and if you look at this, so find the number of strings of length 1, find the number of strings of length 2, length 3, length 4, length 5, all the way up to, why did I stop at 10? Less than 11, not less than or equal to 11, less than 11. Well, then that means 10. So that's why I stopped at 10. Okay, so we're going to have to do all these different string lengths. Okay, length 1 is pretty easy. So length 1. And now when they say strings, that means order matters. I know that's not like intuitive, but I am telling you that it matters. Okay. So like ABC is different from CBA, right? Like it's almost like a password. So if it's just length 1, that means we're only choosing one letter, and there are 26 letters. Okay. And they don't say that you can't repeat letters. I mean, like think of the word school, right? The O is repeated, right? So repetitions are allowed. So that means we can't use permutations or combinations. Oops. I don't know why I typed over that. So undo. Okay. Length 2. Okay. So that means we would do it. Let's see. What is the other problem we did like this, where we made up? Yeah, the digits. It's almost like this. It's just we're doing letters instead of digits, right? And here they are not putting any restrictions on it. So for length 2, just do equals, and we would have 26 choices in the first spot times 26 choices in the second spot. And then we'll do length 3. Well, it would be 26 in the first, 26 in the second, 26 in the third. And the shorter way to write that is just, so 26 times 26 times 26 is 26 cubed. So equals 26 raised to the, which is if you do shift and the 6 key, that does that little raise to a power, third. Okay, and then length 4. So I'm just gonna, sometimes, I don't know if it will work. No. Okay, length 3, length 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. So I think we've seen the pattern. So length 4, it would be just 26 to the 4th power. And then length 5 equals 26 to the 5th power. And then length 6 equals 26 to the 6th power. 7 equals 26 to the 7th power. Length 8 equals 26 to the 8th power. Equals length 9 is 26 to the 9th power. And then length 10 equals 26 to the 10th power. Okay, but we're not doing these things. We're not creating a string of length 1 and a string of length 2 and a string of length 3. We're just counting the total number of possibilities. So I would look at all this lengths of strings of length 1, or I could have a string of length 2. So it's not like, this is a little bit hard to explain, but they're just saying the number of different strings of letters of length at least 1 but less than. So if we multiplied, it would be like, I want you to create the strings of length 1 and the strings of length 2, which sort of looks like what we did. But let's make it let's make this an easier choice for a second to see why I'm about to do what I'm going to do. So say you have your instructor gave you an assignment and said you've got to like assignment 1 is you're going to either read 2 books or watch a movie. How do I want to say this? So books, we'll say books, videos. So say there are 3 books to choose from and you read 1, right? And say there are 5 videos, not movies, just videos, and you watch 3. Now, if your instructor said you have to do both of those, so this one is you choose, you either read 1 book from a list of 3 or you watch 3 videos from a list of 5, right? But you don't have to do both of them. So, and then someone might ask, well, how many different ways are there to complete this assignment, right? So if you're looking at books, there are 3 books to read and you choose 1. Well, that one, so it's pretty easy. There are 3 choices there. Now for videos, there are 5 videos available. And they say, if you go this route, you have to watch 3 of the 5. Well, it wouldn't matter the order in which you watched them, right? Like if you just have to say, yep, I watched these 3 videos. The instructor isn't going to say, well, what order did you watch them in, right? They might just want you to write something about each of the videos, but the order in which you watch them doesn't matter. So if order doesn't matter, that's combinations. You have 5 to choose from, you choose 3, right? So there are 10 different ways to complete the video assignment. And there are 3 different ways to complete the book assignment. But the total number of ways a student could complete the assignment, so you might have to ask yourself, would it be 30 ways? So would there be, that would be if you had to do both, read a book and watch a video. But if you just have to either read a book or watch videos, then the total would be 3 plus 10. And that's kind of how this like problem is going. We could have, I'm going to change these last 3 so that they're not using scientific notation. They're written as just a number in standard form. And I'm going to get rid of the decimals and put in the commas. I'll put the decimals back. Okay. So if we were just going to pick a string of letters, right, from all of the ones available, it's like we would line them up. We would have 26 of length 1, and then we put all the length 2, and there's 676. And then we would put all the length 3, and there are 17,576. So we would just be adding these together. So the total number of strings, oh, oops, between 1 and 10 is, we're just going to add those together. And this is where we can use the sum command, equals SUM, parentheses, and just highlight all of these. And then change it back to a regular number with commas, but no decimals. So let's see. Ones, thousands, millions, billions, we're in the trillions, right? So, okay, that is the end of the chapter 5 video and the chapter 5 assignment.